Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Well, that's a really vague and wide question. Oh my God.
Deliberately.
Yes, well, I mean, I don't know where to start. When people ask me this question, I always say like, what aspect do you want to know? This journey has been long in the process, and the reason why, we could talk about as a business owner, how we could talk about how as a business owner I have a lot of concerns. I have a lot of concerns as a dad. I have a lot of concerns as well. Public safety is an issue in my community. The unsheltered. So as a business owner, I look at the unsheltered that walk by my business often, and that's a concern. I look at public safety. So I'm a big parks user here in town. My big park, the one that I tend to go to, is Unity Park. That's out in my neighborhood, and I go there and I notice that there's no crosswalks to get to my park, and just the whole family environment. Are my daughters safe? At one point recently, with crime going up, back about 2 years ago, I think we hit about 50 murders about 2 years, 49 I believe, and so crime overall. 3 out of the last 5 years, crime had gone up, and I have to acknowledge, in all fairness, that the last 2 years, crime has stayed about the same. According to Officer Joe Silva, and I would say that I didn't feel safe, and my representative in that area didn't make me feel like my city was going to improve. There's a lot of dumping in my area, and so my thought is, what can anybody do to make my city a better place? And so I started looking around, and I said, hey, I'm a business owner. I'm a teacher. I'm a father. I'm somebody who pays taxes, not only through myself but through my businesses. I've dabbled in real estate investment. That's where I made some money. That's helped me to get to where I'm at today. And so I said, you know what? If nobody else chooses to step up, well, then I'll step up, because the way my representative is out there, I don't feel like he's representing me, and I don't think he's representing a lot of people. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna take on the challenge in the classroom, in my businesses, with rentals, with real estate investment. Fixing, painting. I've always been a hands-on type of individual. I've always been in the trenches. I was telling Don right now that I was actually at Showered with Love, giving haircuts to the less fortunate, and I do this because I'm not one of those that tells you how to do stuff or to implement policy. I'm down there implementing the policy and leading by example. And so when I didn't see that in my representation, because that's who I am and that's who I believe a lot of Stocktonians are, I said, I'll step up. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to step up and take on the challenge. And I've been blessed to have the opportunity, because I will tell you, this campaigning is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And with me having to create my own signs and not use recycled signs, I think it makes it more, it makes it a little bit more difficult, because I feel that's taking money away from other aspects of my life. And so that's that's the long story. I don't necessarily want to share my. I have other aspects. I grew up on the east side. There's a whole lot of build up to where I finally made it to college, and so I don't want to play that. I would say, I guess, for lack of a better word, like that typical stereotypical movie cliche-ish stuff. So that's why I focus on who I am today, and not everything that's culminated to what I am today. So that was one of the reasons. I know that's wordy and lengthy and everything, but that's just who I am.
Why do you feel you're the best candidate for this position?
That's a great question. So Don asks, why do I feel I'm the best candidate? And I think I've answered that in the first question. It's not that I'm the... Okay, I do think I am the best candidate. It's because I feel Stockton is wants to see a leader, a community leader who's accessible. So if you look at my card, and I'll give that to you guys right now. If you guys look at my card, that number that's on the card, that's my actual number. Because I believe in full accountability, and not only accountability, but accessibility. And so when I say accessibility, I mean if my constituents have an issue, right? Recently, over at in my area on Holman and Telestar, there's a new business called Love to Play. There was a boat burned down. And my thought is we have a new business here that has this environment where it's nice, it's a beautiful, I go over there all the time with my daughters, but I don't want to see this eyesore. It's a huge eyesore to see these burned down, this burned down boat, or we have a burned down palm tree in the area. So I believe that I'm the best candidate because I work through accessibility. If you have a question, talk to me. My number's on the card. Get a card, get a hold of me. I believe I'm the best candidate because I'm a in the trenches kind of guy. I'm out there not only leading by telling, but I'm also a forward thinker. I've thought that everything that I've learned in the classroom as a teacher, I would like to implement that to my constituents.
And again, before we go out, state your name, what you're running for, and list what you feel are the top issues in this campaign.
So so my name is Fernando Duarte. I'm Hispanic, born and raised in Stockton. Grew up on the east side of Stockton, and I'm running for City Council District 2. And if you don't know where District 2 is, and actually that's a great question. Like, how do I know what district I'm in? District 2 is going to be all of Holman, from where it ends at McAllen, all the way to Murata, and then Hammer Lane from East Hammer Lane to South Hammer Lane, as well as Kelly Drive. So Kelly Drive all the way to the Slough, and Kelly Drive all the way to Plymouth. And we would say Hammer Lane all the way to the Slough as well. So that Slough back there in North Stockton, that's where the cutoff is. I would say the top priorities for me is really, it's not really about me. I'm just a representative. But what I believe my constituents think that is a top priority is crime, Measure A in particular, accountability and transparency. One of the things that we'll talk about, and you'll see this in all my interactions, is that I'm fair, I'm consistent, and I'm polite. I've always said, one of the things that we talk about in the classroom is that we have to be respectful. We have this thing called slant time. Sure, if you haven't looked it up, it's an Avid strategy. Check it out. But we have to sit up. We have to make eye contact. This is why it's kind of difficult to make eye contact with the camera because I'm over here. I'm referencing to the individuals that are here, and be respectful, be polite. Nod if I agree, shake if I don't, and it's okay to disagree. And so, nonetheless, homelessness or the unsheltered or the less fortunate, those are a priority to me. Safety, business development. How do we, as a business owner, I know the process. As a business owner, I know what it takes, the revenue. I understand, this is my money at that. I understand the revenue. I understand the cost that it takes. I have a brick and mortar here in town. I went through the permit process. In one of my particular businesses, we started with a slab. We're in a suite, so we started with a slab and 4 walls. That's it. And we had a restroom, of course, in that 4 walls. But I went through the process. I went through the plumbing process, through the plumbing permits, through the electrical permits, sprinklers. I've had fire department inspecting my business. I understand it all. And so I would like it to be a little bit more, I I guess streamlined, I guess for lack of a better word, or even not even streamlined. I would like to mentor other individuals to prosper. To be a business owner. If you thought about being a business owner, I want to through my cards. Call me up. Let me know. Hey, Mr. Duarte, Fernando, I want to start up a business. And I could tell you, this is what I did. This is the process. And I think this is one thing, Don, where I would say I'm a little bit different than the other individual. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to knock anybody. I'm here to say that I know the business process. I know what it is to be a classroom, to be in the classroom. I know what it is to be a father. I know what it is to be in the parks. I know what it is to be a good neighbor. Not just that, but then I also give back. So just in case, and once again, going back to accessibility, you guys have a question, find me every third Saturday over in front of the DMV. I'm out there helping the less fortunate, feeding them, giving them haircuts if they need haircuts. Find me at Showered with Love on Thursdays down over at St. John's, on Tuesdays over at Stockton Alliance Church, because I'm accessible. And so that's one of the things that makes me a little bit different than the other guy.